This is Mark with the Great Christianity. That is the beautiful lamp my mother made for me a long time ago. My mother made that lamp. It's beautiful. She's good at what she does. And I have a painting by her right by it. Does everybody remember when people used to say, YouTube is censoring me, that's not freedom of speech? And I always thought, why would you, like if I say Jesus is the way, why would YouTube censor that? It's kind of like saying, my same attitude towards maybe Doritos or something like that. And they say, well, they have preservatives, flavorings, colorings. And so, well, if you get potato chips and they're in an airtight bag, why do you not need preservatives and potato chips because they're in an airtight bag, but they're preservatives and Doritos? Of all these ingredients in Doritos, why do they put them in there? It costs them money to do that. Same thing with YouTube. YouTube, now it's Google, wants to censor what we say. And in the past, I thought, well, why do they want to censor, like if somebody says the N-word, why do they want to censor that? It's kind of like saying that Honda wants to put hood ornaments on their cars. So, well, it's not a Rolls Royce. Why would you want to spend extra money to put a hood ornament on your car? You know, why would you want to spend extra money to put a hood ornament on Hondas? They don't need it. They're cheap cars. Why would you spend the extra money? Why do companies spend the extra money to put all these ingredients in our food? I have shrimp bites or something like that in the freezer, and they're preserved with sodium benzoate. If it's frozen, why do you need to preserve it with sodium benzoate? Same thing. Same thing. I don't understand people. I used to buy. It happens over and over again. I used to buy. Well, why would you spend the extra money to do that? I used to buy lemon juice, frozen lemon juice, and it came without preservatives. But the airtight lemon juice that you buy in a little thing that looked like a lemon would have sodium benzoate in it. Why would you put sodium benzoate in something that is sealed? If you open it and put it in the refrigerator, one lemon juice has sodium benzoate in it, one doesn't. Same with salsa. I have salsa in the refrigerator that does not have sodium benzoate in it. Or however you pronounce the word, or the words. Sodium is right, but I don't know about benzoate, how you pronounce that. I think that's how you pronounce it. And then I go to the store and I pick up another brand of salsa and it would have sodium benzoate in it. Why? Why would they go to the expense of putting sodium benzoate in something when it's not needed? It's the same stuff. It's tomatoes, onions, peppers, chili peppers. It's the same stuff. Why does one brand have sodium benzoate and another brand doesn't? Same thing with barbecue sauce. I bought one barbecue sauce that doesn't have sodium benzoate in it, and another barbecue sauce that does. They're both sealed. They're both in glass jars. Why does one need sodium benzoate and the other one doesn't? And if it doesn't need it, why would they go to the expense of putting it in there? If you look at our food, a lot of our food that they advertise is artificial colors, artificial flavorings, artificial sweeteners, artificial preservatives. I mean, if it's not needed, why go to the expense of doing it? My same question with YouTube. People would say they shouldn't censor my videos. They shouldn't censor my comments. There's all censorship. There's a lot of censorship. And my question was, why are they doing this? Why would you go to the expense of getting censors or making a program that would censor people? Why would you do that? And yet, I use the word that begins with N that ends in O for a certain type of people, for certain people. begins with an N and ends in O. And I found out my video was banned because I used that word. It's in the United Blank College Fund. We have an organization that has that in there, and that's okay. They'll advertise for that. I've seen them advertise for the United Blank College Fund. But if I say the word that ends in an O and starts with an N for certain people, I get my video gets banned. At the same time, there's a much more popular video that uses the actual N word, and it's fine that they use it. So I know it's not the computer system that's doing it, because if it did that, if it got rid of the word I used, it would certainly get rid of the N word. But no, it didn't. No, so somebody's actually on the other end of this stuff, censoring our stuff. You say, okay, well now, the government's in Facebook and the government's in YouTube. You know the government's in YouTube. And CIA's in Hollywood. There was somebody, she said she was interviewed by the CIA, and she works in Hollywood. She was in Hollywood, and she was interviewed by the CIA. What's the CIA doing in Hollywood? And again, we have people, now, in the past, when I was a kid, and even when I was an adult, people would say, I will defend your right to say what you want to say. And they put out vulgar stuff, not just vulgar, they put out profane stuff in music, and they complain, somebody's censoring this music. Nobody's complaining much anymore. And they're talking about getting rid of freedom of speech. There was a woman or a girl who was talking about, we need to get rid of freedom of speech. So you really need to change the Constitution when you get rid of freedom of speech. Are you out of your mind? So if the government is censoring us, that's illegal, because it's not the private company saying you can't say certain things. The government, who is supposed to be protecting our constitutional rights, is saying you can't own guns, you can't say what you want to say, First and Second Amendment. You know, you're going to be arrested and your stuff confiscated if you have drugs, or if we just don't like you, you're gonna lose your Fourth Amendment rights. Third Amendment rights, they put people in your house, which looks like what they're going to do. Fourth Amendment or Fifth Amendment rights, you have to testify against yourself. I mean, does anybody care? I mean, what I'm saying is, people used to say YouTube can censor. It's a private company. They can censor all they want. Now we're finding out the truth. Why would they expend money to censor people? What's their agenda? What's YouTube's agenda? And again, as I said back then, I said back when they were censoring, I said they shouldn't call it YouTube then. But now we find out the government is telling people what they may and may not say, talking about disinformation, misinformation, and they say, well, we're not going to do that, and they did it anyway. And they're saying, you can't say certain things on the internet. And again, it'll probably get to the point where somebody will have a website that the government doesn't like, and they'll delete the website. Somebody's paying for the platform for the website, so he's putting for all this technology and effort into making a website, and the government just says, you can't do that. Welcome to China, welcome to the Soviet Union. That's really what a lot of people want. They want somebody telling them what to do, how to live their lives, what they might say, what their job is. They want totalitarianism. I'm seeing that. But it was interesting to me that people would say, well, oh, yeah, they can censor, they're not the government. They're a private company. And then finding out the government is pressuring Facebook, or was pressuring Facebook to censor. And I'm sure it's doing the same thing to YouTube. I mean, why wouldn't it? It's a bigger platform than Facebook.